This video was made possible by super sexy sponsor patreon.com/gamechamp. Members at any tier get early access to my videos. After this video's over, you could keep going and watch a brand new video about the Splatoon 3 side order attackless hackless run. It has lesbians in it. You like lesbians, right? Good morning everybody and welcome back to VG Myths, the online internet video game TV show whose legacy is null. Rogue Legacy is a platforming roguelite putting you in the shoes of an entire lineage of adventurers. But I'm on a strict schedule, so what do you say we get this one done in one singular lifetime? If you're unfamiliar with Rogue Legacy, here's a quick rundown. On boot up, you do a quick and simple movement and combat tutorial, get booted to the title screen, and begin your first run as famously dumb idiot Sir Lee. He enters the randomly generated castle whose doors lock behind him, starting a loop. The castle is split into 4 sub-areas, each hiding a boss door within. Defeat the 4 area bosses to unlock the final door leading to the 5th and final boss. The only way to exit the castle is to either beat that final boss or, more likely, die a painful death. Dying is an extremely important and useful mechanic. After death, you get to choose a randomly generated heir as the new player character. Each potential heir has their own special traits such as being short and being gay. Additionally, and most importantly, they inherit all their parents' gold, which can be spent on upgrades to make the next run a little bit easier, eventually bringing the difficulty down from absurdly impossible to impossibly easy. None of that factors for this run because we're playing as Sir Lee and only Sir Lee, a guy who literally can't afford to figure out how to use the shield he carries around. Sir Lee is the literal worst adventurer in human history, with no stats, no abilities, no inheritance, and no traits other than an unquenchable thirst for death. Oh, no, wait, never mind, he's actually pretty good at quenching it. He ain't the greatest hero, but he's the only one we've got. Can you beat Rogue Legacy in one life? The rules are simple. We just have to get this loser past the finish line. That's obviously not gonna happen if we fight fair, so we're gonna have to cheat. To pull off this trick, we'll need a very specific randomly generated castle, which you'll have to find through hours upon hours of trial and error. If the stars align, a room looking like this will be positioned just right above the castle entrance. This bookshelf is super close to the ceiling with just enough space to stand on, and is directly next to a narrow passage average-sized characters can't fit in. Cram yourself in this corner with rapid jump attacks and you'll soon phase through the ceiling. The area above the ceiling is legally a floor you can walk around and walk off, dropping into the room just to the left of the castle entrance, the starting courtyard. We got here a little late and are currently falling to the center of the earth, but no worries, if you move past the left edge of the screen, you enter the mansion upgrade screen. We can now spend Sir Lee's accumulated cash without needing to inherit it first to turn him from a 0 into a hero. Nothing in the game can stop us now. The run is over.
Chicken!
Gasp and shenanigans! Who is this intruder in my incredible online internet video game video? Wait, that glint in his eye, could it be Zors? The incredible online internet Rogue Legacy super gamer? If I recall correctly, he's literally the only roguelager in the entire world who matters. The world record holder in, let's see, I didn't actually check which category it was, but could it be all of them? I didn't even have to check while writing the script. I just figured he probably was, and of course he is. He's the one guy who's ever beaten the entire game without getting hit. He's the guy so good, they had to make an entire mod all about how lamentful he is, plastered right there on the official Steam boot up options. Gosh, Zors, what are you doing here? Are you going to arrest me for my crimes?
No, No, you've committed no crimes, but I'm still a bit disappointed. How dare you, Miss Gamerchamp? Don't you want to shoot for the stars? Many people have beaten the game with Surly using glitches to cheat the system, but only one person has beaten the game with one life glitchless. Wouldn't you rather be the second person ever to achieve this monumental feat? How much harder could it really be?
Glitchless run! Ooh, the very thought taints me to my soul. On VG Myths, we tend to embrace the more chaotic end of the challenge run spectrum, so I've gotten incredibly used to abusing basically any crack in reality I can find. But gosh, the incredible temptation to think I could be the first person ever to do one life glitchless while also being bad at video games. The temptation is too great. I'm taking you up on your offer, Zors. This run is glitchless. That means we can't use our little oob shenanigans, or any shenanigans for that matter. We're not just beating the game with Sir Lee. We're beating the game in Sir Lee's true, absolutely useless form. To get the run started, let's not dread the suffering to come and focus on the easy part. The first section of the castle is the only place Sir Lee is vaguely capable of survival. Enemies barely try to hit you, and when they do, they don't do it very hard. You'll find the boss door in no time to fight Kidder. He's got 2 attacks. When he does a random barrage, stick between the floor and a platform, jumping between bullets as they head in your direction. When he does the spiral, follow it along and time a pogo attack if you have to go above. When you kill a boss, they drop a giant chest containing 3 random stat boosts. Obviously, for Sir Lee, these are highly coveted, but some are more coveted than others. In fact, they're so coveted that if you don't get a jackpot, I recommend deleting your save file. See, while we were totally capable of beating Kidder legit, that is absolutely not happening for the rest of the game. We may not be allowed to use glitches, but we're still gonna cheat. There's a special combination of cheese that'll fudge the numbers in Sir Lee's favor. First, let me throw down an example scenario. You're fighting some super hard boss, you're totally about to kick their butt, but oh no, you didn't see that attack coming and have now taken XDX damage. That's more than half your max health, so the next hit will kill you and end the one life run you just spent 50 years grinding. A normal player would lock down and try to beat the boss without getting hit, which would be scary. You'd probably die from the suspense, which wouldn't be so bad, but then you'd die in the video game. Instead, we're gonna use the patented VG Myth secret technique, run away like a little sissy baby. Even during a boss fight, you're totally allowed to just straight up stop playing the game, a completely valid, dev-intended, non-glitch mechanic. Upon booting the game back up, would you look at that, we're back at the start of the castle. As long as a boss is incapable of killing you in one hit, you enter the fight with full health, and you pause the moment you've lost enough health it's possible to be killed, it is literally impossible to die. That's pretty OP in a no-death run. The boss's health will be refilled when we get back, but that's worth it for another risk-free attempt. Except this strat has a critical weakness. We're still missing the health we lost from our prior attempt, and in Rogue Legacy, health refills are not easy to come by. It would be nice if, say, the game didn't remember we lost that health, but the game autosaves either when the player moves between rooms or when they stop playing the game. But what if instead we make the game stop playing? This'll need to be done on an early version of the game, which thankfully is selectable on the boot up options. Before heading into the boss fight, walk over to a teleporter, pause the game, then try to both unpause and open the sub-menu at the same time. If done correctly, you'll find yourself in a glitched out, paused but not paused state. From here, open the sub-menu. Use down on the D-pad to select Return to Title Screen, hit it, and quickly press up on the D-pad. That'll open the teleport menu just before being booted out. Now just load back into the game and do things like usual. Run in to challenge the boss, suck tremendously and get hit, pause, and That's right, baby, we can crash reality at will. Since the game didn't close so much as explode, it never got the chance to save, so loading brings us to just before the boss fight, back when we had a full health bar.
Ahem.
Oh, that's probably a glitch, isn't it? Dang it. Losing health is unavoidable. We'll need a consistent healing method. There are a few ways to heal available to other characters, but without upgrades, all Sir Lee's got to work with are fountains which only work once per life, and randomly generated wall chicken. These scrumptious morsels have a 3% chance of dropping from obstacles or defeated enemies and restore about 10% of your max health. Problem is, both objects and enemies are a finite resource remembered as destroyed on your save file. Eventually, everything in the castle will be crushed to a fine mist and you'll have no way to heal. Or at least, that's how it's supposed to work. While most objects in the castle are permanently destroyed, any objects found in a special room marked with a purple question mark are an exception. Their destruction is not saved to your save file, so you can quit to title screen and return to these rooms to farm over and over and over and over, repeating that 3% dice roll an infinite number of times for de facto and glitchless infinite health.
Chicken!
And if you're lucky enough for a question room to spawn directly next to a boss door, you can teleport in from the entrance without encountering any threats, sealing this strategy as flawless 100% immortality. Except this all relies on Sir Lee being capable of surviving at least one hit. And if you've forgotten, he's kind of a twig. If there's an attack that can deal his max health or more, the run will instantly end the moment it touches us, rendering this de facto immortality facto mortality. Focusing specifically on the boss fights, which are where 99% of our playtime takes place, Sir Lee is actually capable of surviving one or more hits from almost everybody, with a single exception. The final boss has a strength stat of 110, meaning he'll deal 10 HP overkill on Sir Lee's 100 base health. And that's why we're grinding for HP ups from Kidder. By default, Sir Lee has 100 health. Each HP stat boost ups that total by 5. Since our goal is to survive 110 damage, we need at minimum 2 HP boosts plus either a third HP boost or a singular armor boost, which subtracts a small amount of the damage you take. Just these 3 boosts push Sir Lee slightly barely past the threshold to make our almost viable cheese strategy into 100% Gouda. You only have to be good enough to beat every boss without getting hit, with only a 30-minute chicken farming session as penalty for failure. Easy! I personally set my goal to get at least 2 HP ups from Kidder, knowing we'd still be getting a bunch more stat boosts before the end of the game. The odds of getting at least 1 HP or armor are really good, especially since you're not limited to just the 3 drops per boss. Silver and gold chests randomly found throughout the castle also have a small chance of dropping boosts. Important note, even after you've gotten your prerequisite health ups, these chests are still worth going to, mostly to increase your strength stat. With enough strength boosts, you might be able to kill smaller enemies in each boss battle in less hits, and of course, the boss itself will die a bit faster too. With some ludicrous divine loaded dice, I finally got an even better Kidder roll than I was looking for. 2 HP ups and 1 armor up, putting Sir Lee past the threshold instantly. And if that weren't enough, the dice were quadruple loaded. Right next to the boss door was a purple question mark room ensuring free teleports to the chicken farm and containing a statue which gave me the only item that matters, Hyperion's ring. This ring saves the player from death exactly 1 time, serving a dual purpose. First, it offers a little bit of extra protection in case I'm a dumb, stupid idiot. Second, if you've gotten a boss down to just barely almost dead before you get hit, the ring gives you one last chance to push your luck without completely risking the run. This is obviously still a giant risk since the strat can only be failed once before losing the ring forever, so you're gonna have to save it for when it's gonna count. There is still one more major bloody red asterisk to our whole plan, and this one has no workaround. While we're capable of surviving anything any boss can throw at us, some standard enemies are even more powerful than the final boss. They're all located in the fourth and final area, Hell. After you've killed Kidder, I recommend finding all 3 of the remaining boss doors in a row, with particular attention to the one in Hell. Since the run automatically ends with a singular mistake, you want this part done before you've invested a week. Absolute ridiculous baby strats apply. Only attack when you know you can get away with it, whittling the mobs down one strike at a time. If you get hit by a weaker enemy, escape to Chicken Farm instantly and avoid the super beefy guys entirely if at all possible. The moment you've found the Hell boss door, its teleporter unlocks so you can get back here risk-free. Never venture any further into Hell lest you encounter a one-hit KO, with one exception. It's worth quickly checking what's inside the rooms directly adjacent to the boss door with your finger on the trigger to quick exit if it's hot. The odds are very low, but there's a non-zero chance you find something useful, such as yet another question room, which I was actually lucky enough to find. The other 2 boss doors can be found with the same strats and with none of the risk thanks to the weaker enemies. The castle is now fully explored. You've got no excuses left. It's time for a boss rush. First up, the boss of the Maya, Ponce de Leon. While technically the 3rd boss of the game, Leon is easy to control, making him a good choice for early stat-ups. Lead Leon circularly around the edges of the arena, keeping just barely in range to hit him. If he stops in place, he's charging a lunge attack. Stop the assault and retreat. Ensure Leon's path is as wide as possible. He leaves flames behind, lasting just barely long enough to be a problem if you're not stopping to smell the roses. The only potential wrench in his pattern are the spike balls semi-randomly placed around the room, whose locations you're just gonna have to memorize. Diagonal balls are particularly chaotic. If you want, you can reset the battle until you get a pattern without it. Personally, I didn't bother. Why load the dice when you've already got luck?
Nice! Haha, 2 down! Let's see if we get some good upgrades. Not the best. Pretty much the worst, actually.
Our next boss of choice is where things really start getting difficult. The Guardian of the Forest, Alexander. His pattern is simple at first, but can quickly get overwhelming. He slowly floats towards you, every once in a while spits a volley of energy balls, and the major kicker occasionally spawns smaller versions of himself. There's a couple methods of attack. Either go all out, focusing on Alexander to get the fight done as soon as possible, or take things slow, focusing on the Furies before doing an occasional Alexander swipe. I recommend juggling both approaches, allowing the Furies to get just a little hectic while you make regular progress towards ending things. Also, keep in mind the Furies deal less damage than Alexander himself. You'll actually be able to survive a couple hits from them without risk, and you're gonna need them.
I'm not sure I'm safe here. Crap. I'm really tempted. Because, like... Ugh. He's so close to dead. He's so close to dead. Got him! Holy crap! Oh my god! Oh my god, that was so early! I did not expect to actually beat him today! Holy crap! Holy crap, holy crap! Yes! Strength! We got a strength too!
With 3 bosses down, we teleport back down to hell for Herodotus. Herodotus is a giant version of the ordinary slime enemies which split on death that happens to start at a ludicrously gigantic size. Plus, each time a split occurs, an earth mage is born, which summons stalagmites below you. If you run around slicing and dicing willy-nilly, the room will inevitably get too hectic. We're gonna make this a long endurance match, carefully taking your scalpel to just the right spot and jamming it in at just the right time. Keep to the top half of the arena. The slimes tend to filter themselves down to the lowest level. Take whatever opportunity you can to get some attacks in, and once the slimes converge on you, retreat to jump across the arena and throw a pogo attack just before landing. Every once in a while, a slime will completely coincidentally be jumping from below, and the pogo will vault over. Prioritize killing the mages before the slimes. They actually die when they're killed, so it's a lot faster progress. As for the slime order of operation, logic dictates the smallest slime should die first. That keeps the total number of slimes in the arena as low as possible, since you're only spawning in the bare minimum before finally sealing a kill. However, that math doesn't math out. Bigger slimes and smaller slimes are not built the same. Big slimes have a bigger hitbox, so it's generally harder to squeeze by them. Even more importantly, that bigger hitbox means they've got bigger feet to potentially catch on the topmost platforms. Smaller slimes can only land on the top platforms if they jump from a precise window. For the larger slimes, that window is gigantic. You'll be blindly hopping between these platforms non-stop, so even having 8 small slimes is better than having 4 big ones. For that reason, you'll want to avoid destroying the box on the top leftmost platform. It's tall enough to safely stand you up above the smallest sized slimes. Also, one very important note. You are technically capable of surviving 2 hits here before needing to exit out, as long as those hits are from the enemies. The floor spikes are a bit stronger and capable of killing you in 2 hits, meaning you should actually be exiting after a single hit. They're way easier to dodge since you simply have to not stand in place, but I always recommend never assuming you're not an idiot. Don't take any risks. You're gonna have to be comfortable not dealing any damage until the golden opportunity. This is by far the longest battle in the game, and you can't afford any mistakes. Nice! Ooh! Herodotus is down! With all 4 area bosses dead, we enter the main event. But first, we've got a special reward. Remember that quick and short tutorial from way back when booting the game? The path to the final boss battle goes through that tutorial, which has an absolute motherload of a smorgasbord of destructible objects. The tutorial is similar to the purple question rooms. If you break an object, leave and come back, that object will be back to new as if you were never there. It might not seem like you can revisit it at first since entering the doorway teleports directly to the final boss on a second visit, but for some bizarro reason, if you enter a different room and come back, the tutorial becomes accessible again. For each of the prior bosses, we had to go through a long session of teleporting to break just 7 total objects. For the final boss attempt, we can walk straight into this treasure trove of chicken to refill our health at unprecedented speed. Break everything in the room on your way to the final boss, get in a good faith attempt, reset, and repeat the loop by heading back into the tutorial room to find all those juicy, yum, delicious lamps.
Oh dear, I haven't farmed the tutorial room in many years, and I forgot to mention that if you clear it and enter the boss door, the breakables stop respawning.
God damn.
Fun fact, there are 45 breakables in the tutorial room, each with a 3% chance for a chicken drop, meaning every clear has a 74.6% chance to drop at least 1 chicken.
Eternal regrets aside, we've still technically got an infinite chicken farm, and we're gonna need the entire coop for enough chances at the final boss battle, Sir Lee's disappointed father, Johans. Johans has 4 attacks which he'll perform every few seconds. A barrage of knives directly towards you, a jumping volley of axes in random arcs, a quick dash leaving a temporary giant sword in place, and finally a good old-fashioned sword swing. That sword swing is key to our strategy. Johans chooses the specific attack randomly when the time comes, and the sword swing is only in his eligible pool of moves if the player is within a certain distance. That distance extends slightly further than the actual range of his attack, and Johans' walk speed is identical to Sir Lee's. Keep barely on the edge, and if Johan swings, punish him with a couple hits, or if needed, escape if he's about to box you in. Your real damage dealing opportunity though is the jumping axe throw. Johans can be juggled up to 5 times in midair, serving a dual purpose of dealing damage and pushing him backward to gain ground. Keep the falling axe locations in mind and abandon Johans if the trajectory's too close. Careful juggling Johans near the edge. The moment he touches a wall, he tends to throw a temper tantrum. With your patricide executed, it's not over yet. Johans fuses with the Fountain of Youth for the second true final phase of the final boss battle, the Fountain. Johans once again has 4 moves. Just as before, he's got the old reliable sword swing scaled up to match his new sword. The hitbox on this thing is something to dread. There's hardly any time to escape point blank, which is a particular problem since you'll sometimes inevitably be forced to jump over him. Next, he summons randomly placed rising swords. They're simple enough to dodge. Stand where they aren't. If Johans follows, pogo off him until it's safe to run. Third, he teleports to the center of the room and summons a wave of spears from the ground. This one's dangerous on 2 levels. If you're at the edge of the screen, it might not be feasible to reach the center in time. And if you're already at the center of the screen, he's perfectly comfortable shoving you out. There's a bright side though, he's a sitting duck for a few free pogos, making this the best of his 4 attacks. Finally, his most dangerous attack, he teleports to the edge of the arena and fires a ludicrous barrage of horizontal knives. If ground level is relatively clear, stay there and try to jump rope. If you get really lucky, ground level will be 100% empty and you can get in some free hits. If, however, ground level looks too horrifying, retreat to the floating platforms which temporarily come into being when pogoed. Most importantly, get ready to freeze frame with the pause button. On each freeze, scope out your plan of attack, and if that seems like a bad idea, run away with your tail between your legs and your HP fully intact. important. Very ultra important. Don't do this run without some absolutely ludicrous amounts of practice. While there's never any real risk of failure, every subpar boss run means very real time spent chicken farming. You need to bring in your absolute best.
Okay, gamer, let's game. Ready to game? Let's go. So that's like the worst start. Let's not do that one. Hi, Johans. My name's Sir Lee. Nice to meet you again. First try. I forgot Johans is the first character! I just killed him! I just died! Oh no! Are there gonna be invisible daggers in here? Oh god. Oh. Oh! We end the run the way it began.
Before we head out, special thanks to Zors for tons of in-depth knowledge and advice that made it possible for someone this bad at video games to accidentally succeed. Any parting words, Zors?
Congratulations on being the second person ever to beat the game with Surly Glitchless. For someone who's bad at video games, you certainly are good at video games. I haven't created content in a few years, but I hope to get back to it soon. I'll still do some Rogue Legacy, but I also want to play platformers I've never tried, like Hollow Knight and Celeste. If you want to know when I return, you can follow Zors Stream on Twitch and Zors YT on YouTube. Thank you to Miss Gamer Champ, all the Rogue Legacy fans, and everyone who loves difficult gaming challenges of all shapes and sizes.
Before heading out, reminder that if you want to make more videos like this possible, head over to super sexy sponsor patreon.com/gamechamp and watch her super cool and lesbian Splatoon 3 side order attackless hackless video. It won't be coming to YouTube until the next video's done. You can't wait that long for lesbians, can you? Special thanks to all Patreon backers, including Salty Sweet, Anon42, Leslam, Badia, Say Do You Remember, Badia, Dancing In, Evil Game Champions like Bad Evening Nobody, and Unwelcome Forward to WH Facts, the offline on-paper board game movie, Candy Crab Trans says Gwen is great, Natalie Kalita, Jorb, Arcombs, Plesiosaurus may have given live birth to well-developed babies and were attentive parents who lived in pods, attempted wholesomeness. Literal Cat Mintley when Catgirl is gay and doesn't go to bed on time. Reblog if you too are gay and or don't go to bed on time. Objection wishes everyone the best of luck with their real-life 2026 damageless run. Trish Chandler, 1-800-Are-You Shrimpin'? Rizky, Darknet, frequently a doofus, occasionally an idiot, always a fool. F. Amadon, Ian Beck, Biohazard, oh hey that's me, Vincent Hall, Arsonist Cat, Sorio99, Cody Merchant, everyone's favorite clan, Ghost Bear McWarrior, Aurelia, Landfair Poolgani, Ogogori, Trinschwab, Winsili, William, Cilio, Gogogoch, Touchtone Banana Phone, Fella, Ken of Red Lions, Morgan Duna Nix, Getsugaru, Love Story Gaming, TTV, Frilly Lily, Celica, Flame Solus, Kelzo, Macaroni Cat personally endorses running away like a little sissy baby. Taheka, Autistic Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm gonna change my name on here soon, but it's still me, you guys. Daybreak the NB Auroran Goddess would like to ask everyone to continue living no matter how hostile the world gets. Kimberly, the Gamer Bee, who is very tired all the time, you see. Random Internet Cat is a random cat on the internet and should not, under any circumstances, be trusted to do non-cat things. Nicole, the Gamer Girl and Gamer Girl. Bruna Kobold, Ella, Fictional Breach, Hailey Gwendolyn Metzger. Mine Planet 84, Starfish at Large has the trophy and is on the move. I'll start the car, you grab the guns, the trophy will be ours again. Vanellian, BJ Mashed Potato says to give Game Champ the 3 wacky numbers on the back of your credit card. CK the Penguin supports Miss Champ and states that trans rights are human rights. K the Mad Witch, Shadow Fox 0002, Pennyco 1, my gaydar broke, give me your transceiver. All of the names on the right side of Game Champ's screen. Gay Bastich, Arushale Table Building Society, Cassie, Corporal High, Raccoona, Stop Signing X, Zytra, who was going to make the name changes into a consistent bit, but forgot to. Quagsire is the best Pokemon. This is not a patron name, this is me, GamerChamp3000, genuinely stating the truth. Simoris, Fake Tokathan, Georgie Lubinoff. Jetstream Jackie wants you to know that her cat Goggles is both fluffy and gay. Lodestar, Lurker Below, Saint Lesbian and Silly World, Thufer My Hawit, your #1 fan. Is Ferris V5 gay? The Fyraga lit by Thundaza, wreathed in and immune to Blizzara but not Blizzaga, Fujoshi Urinal, Psychiclips. They're called Transformers, not Cisformers. Very Gucci, V-Man 6785, a dubious little creature. Jared Bowser, Junma, Quack Bunches Evans, Queen Snoo, the dog cat possum girl thing is very good at gender and very bad at having energay. Hank J. Wimbledon, working retail. Storm Viv, Women Love Cannons, Fruit Squish. Lunar, Haley McLean, Hoshizora Soul VT. Paper the Red, Molly Penelope III, the world's biggest lesbian, hopes you have a yearful day. Intrusive Thought, Nightmare King. All the bugs Yugi has killed, Chas Hackman. Emerald thinks that one should say Awawa. Firefly, Fumitz Mew, Han Ackles, Max Modeba. Patrick Farrow, Theta 927. Triangle Andrusi, Andromeda Barkley, Nemea Corporate Enchantress, Kathalina, Albino the Infernape is a trans cat girl. I bet you can't guess where I got the name Zenith. Hi529 says remember, it'll be alright, no matter how much it sucks in the meantime. Stefan. Fern says hi Canethony, Canesquire of Canetopia. I forgot that Miss Gamerchamp 3K uploaded video, so every time the Patreon charge notification popped up on my phone, my only T. Super Wumpa 22, The Thetheride, Space Cat Alien Bin 2553. What a beautiful duong. Choo Choo, Asphalt, Axie the Axolotl, who totally didn't forgore for months to fix a typo that aired in her first Patreon shadow. Anyways, meet Cosmic Karma, the Immoral Emperor, Jackie Cat, who is probably shortening her name until she can come up with actually funny joke names again. Connor Ponner 3, Battery 0925, Niku, Simply Mark, Tilted Pizza, Turku Bacon. Minx the Jester is starting to realize this long username spit is going to very quickly lose most of its comedic value. Oh no. Ycron, pausing the gimmick for the time being, I gotta think of another one. Meh. Playtendo, a bad name zero on my part. Amoen, Anthony Cermak, Bakubread. Benye will talk about Pokemon, open parentheses, this is a threat, close parentheses. Boingus Doingus, did you know there is a rotating snake gift behind you? Ekron Vulture, getting so scared, Heretical Hamster. I pay my exotic tavern girl, so why not you too, trans flag? I swear if this isn't butter, I'm seriously gonna lose it. Jackwolf5775, Just Bird. Kometo Prime, Nicholas Brown, Planter of QZ. Powered by Eels, Queen of Jacks, Rage Mage 69, Ranger Nyx, Sakagura the Bit, Shy Guy the Masquerade, Selena McClellan, Superbird, Trey BWN, Eli McBride, Faye, a person who is most definitely not an actual Faye, Fulmer, Roxy, Psych Mac, Silvercaster 893, Steve the Wonderfish, Temi Toa. Can I say this? I don't know if I can say this. Fine, I'll say it. Splinkety Donko, the Nefarious Energy Sphere Eater, Umbra the Sphere Doomer. Tonight at 7, Local Idiot discovers running water, a square loser, a Vol Hyphen. Comrade Terra says you deserve to love the person you're becoming. Try HRT. Digital Badger, El Mullet, the man who lives solely off of retro achievements. Lord Sega, I beseech thee, please let my son Rystar out of gay baby jail. Piss Joke 2, piss harder. Shogun Metal Shot, Robobot Fan, Space Hawk, Doyless Stage, Jacqueline the Scythe Lesbian, who might as well be a walking advert for Hot Topic at this point. Loot, Miriam Burgers Normal. Idara Feka, Maxwell Bauer, Monster aka Monter aka Love. The Aurora Boros, Ray, Dot Beeps, I'm a Mimic, says the Mimic, McStevington, Uzi, Transonic Girl. April Fools? Damn right she does. Yaos is a bat which drinks blood, hates the sun, and shoots gas from its nipples. Scruffy, One Crazy Fox 1, Soy Sauce, Cybele, Violet. Trans Flag, Ashen Demon, Trans Flag. Lachlan Ross, Cutest Servbot Emily. Sapphic Sapphire, the Silly Gay Sheep, and a being sometimes known as Kit by her friends. Let me know how much this video sucks and how to improve in the comments below. 10 hours of wall chicken for watching, and get out of my house. Bookshelf's over there.